Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Big Brother 22 All Stars. With me is a live feed update show. It's a spoiler show, so I don't want to hear about it. Stop watching now, okay? With me, as always, Tyler. Beth is taking the night off, but that's okay. We have Finley's ass filling in.
How are you doing, Allison? How's your week going? Anything new or exciting going on in your life?
Today, I vacuumed the entire house. I mopped. I washed all the linens in the guest room and the bedroom, and I worked. I went to Ulta and bought this fingernail polish that matches my headband.
It matches our background too.
It matches our background. It's very big Big Brother color. Yes, very much so. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
My week was good. As I just told you before we went on air, I am officially moved in with Tim on the Upper East Side. So I am very happy, very relieved that that's all said and done, and I don't have to be stressing about moving any longer because it's not fun in New York City.
I'm just going to tell you, moving in general sucks. I've done it 3 times in the last 6 months, 4 times, because I had to move twice, and then the third time to get into my house.
Yeah.
And then I had to just wrap up, helping my parents. Wow, I love looking at Finley's nuts. Oh. Okay, thank you. Do I sound okay?
It sounds a little low quality, a little muffled.
Hold on. How do I sound now? Is that better?
A little bit better, yeah.
Is that better?
Yes, so Andrew's here.
Oh, Andrew. Andrew is joining. Well, hello, Andrew. Whoa. Hello, Andrew. What are we doing down there, Andrew?
We can't hear you. I think your AirPods aren't picking up the thing. So while Andrew figures out his sound, we will. He's talking, but we have no idea what he's saying.
We can't hear
you. So we have Steve Moses' mom in the chat. Hi, Allison, Tyler, and Beth. I'll be here for a few. Steve will be up on another show soon. Thanks for the friendship, Allison. She was such a sweetheart. I got to talk to her on the phone for a few minutes after the show. Bless her heart. She was so nice. But here we are to talk about week.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we're good. Hey, Andrew, how are you doing?
Hey, guys. I just got home from work.
Hold on, we got a question already.
What were you smoking?
It's just very cold in my house. So it was the breath.
Okay. It's just very cold. Sure.
All right. So here we are for the live feed updates for week 4 of Big Brother 22 All Stars. And I just want to start at the top of the show by saying, as always, this is a spoiler-filled show. If you have not seen what happens with the veto, all that stuff, and you just want to keep up with the casual show, just watch the show and come back here on Thursday when we do the live eviction. Don't leave us comments saying that we spoiled anything, because that's what we are here to do. We are here to talk about all that stuff, break it down. Yes. This
is a wine-free zone. No whiners allowed. I'm the only one. Do not steal my thunder.
We're no whining allowed until Allison gets to Nicole Franzel's score. That's our motto here. So pretty standard week in the Big Brother house, right? Kaser, of course, we see Enzo win HOH. He puts up Kaser, and then he puts up Kevin as a pawn next to him. Pretty standard stuff, right? And then we see Kevin win the veto. And I'm really happy that he won this veto. I think that he's finally starting to find his place, his footing in the game. And I think that we've seen an increase in his social capital. We see some people going to him, giving him information, having conversations with him. Does he have the right read on everything? No. Not even close.
And he's giving information to the wrong people.
But the wheels are starting to turn, and that's what I like to see. And I want to thank Ian for turning those wheels. He's really come alive this week in terms of like talking to us, the live feeders, and having these conversations with Kevin, Bailey, Devon before it starts to get too late. So, of course, we see the veto obviously is used. Kevin uses it on himself. And Enzo puts up Christmas as the renom. Christmas volunteered herself on the block, which is very Big Brother 19 of her, I will say. Yeah, so that's where we stand with the official noms and stuff. So it's either Christmas or Kaser going. Kaser's pretty much stopped talking game because he knows that everybody knows that Kaser's going home, right? It's spoiler alert, that's what's happening on Thursday. But there's a lot of other fun things to be talking about. So many cracks in the alliance, and I can't wait to get into it all. Andrew, is your audio good?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I just don't like half the crap you're saying. Not like what you're saying. Like, you're not doing anything wrong, but it's just the whole house is dumb. This whole week is dumb. Enzo doesn't want to waste his HOH, but he's taking off the only person that doesn't anyone in the house.
Yeah.
The only best pickup. Like, I truly thought Janelle leaving was going to help Kaser's game. And in a normal house with people that know strategy, it should. Like, Kaser is a target and a free agent. Like, literally, anybody could have won HOH and struck a deal with him, and Kaser would have been like, okay. Like, so it's completely dumb so start there, nominating Kaser, no sense at all. 2, nominating Kevin, no sense to me at all. I don't get that nomination. I don't understand that aspect. Glad Kevin got his comp win. That's great. That's cool. But then Enzo starts going up and being like, whoever wins HOH next week, I'm going to be all up in their ear to nominate Danielle Donato. Bitch, you're HOH. Like, what, like,
Yeah.
That's scared. That's not all-star. That is bad gameplay all the way around. The fact that he is saying moves that he wants to have happen, but he won't make them happen. One, that's a mistake, because if Danielle Donato wins next week, all that person has to go do is say what Enzo just said, repeat that, and now you should have taken the shot when you had the chance and not waited for somebody else to do it. And then Christmas volunteering herself as a pawn instead of putting up a David, instead of doing something of that nature, this whole week makes no sense. I don't know why I would expect anything more from an HOH. Tyler, 2 weeks ago, you asked me, if Enzo were to win, or would he go down as the best winner of all time, one of the top 5 winners or something like that? His handling of this HOH is why I cannot give him credit for that.
I don't know, Andrew. I think I think it's smart I think what we're seeing here playing out is the big dominating alliance usually self-implodes after just like a week or two in the Big Brother house. But these are returning players. They know a little bit better. And I feel like this is what happens when the big alliance, the big group house alliance, stays until like it can't stay any longer. And like, I feel like every single person is tiptoeing around like who's going to be the first person to strike. And I think Enzo is a smarter player than that to say, especially when there's somebody like Kaser in the house. Like, why does he have to be like, yo, like, that's it, man. I'm going to take out Kaser. That's it. I don't want no drama. And I don't blame him for not wanting to have the blood on his hands, because you're right. We don't know who's going to win HOH next. If he puts up Danny, I mean, what happens if Nicole Franzel wins HOH next week? Like, she's going to be pissed that he like took this swing at the alliance and took out one of her numbers. And I feel like no matter who takes the first strike in this big alliance, somebody's going to be pissed. Like, that's how like layered and how many cracks there are in this thing.
2 counterpoints to what you're saying.
Sure.
And let me make sure I remember what I was going to say. 1, okay, you're right. Don't take the first swing, but then don't talk about taking the first swing.
Yes.
That's my problem. It's not necessarily that he doesn't make the move. My problem is that he doesn't make the move and then says he wants somebody else to make the move. That's my issue. My issue isn't that case. If you were going to play it safe, you should have never won HOH, in my opinion, because I don't think Kaser would have gone after Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Kaser wins, he doesn't go after Enzo. So if you're going to play it safe, especially in an all-stars position like this with an alliance that, and I want to get to that in my second point here in a second, sure. Winning the HOH was a dumb move to win that and to do that, because now you get to the final 2 What's your resume? You took out Kaser, who was all alone and by himself?
Yeah, that's not a big game move, in my opinion, at all.
Then I want to go back to this whole alliance and imploding and ask you, Tyler, who do you think is in this alliance?
Who do I think is in the alliance? So I don't know.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw our show last week, but I made like a little diagram to kind of help us out here. And I think that the true alliance is this second circle and inward. So Christmas, Danny, Nicole, Enzo, Tyler, and Cody. And what we're seeing is a lot of tension between Tyler and Cody this week. And that's what I really want to talk about this week, because it's really exciting to me. Tyler has he's kind of taking over Cody's awesome sweep position with everybody in this game. And it's really not sitting well with Cody. I mean, so basically what's happening, what's causing this dissent is Tyler wants to take out Danny, right? We all know this. But Tyler's putting in the work now first before Danny has the opportunity to kind of build her army against him. And of course, this is not good for Cody that Danny's being put higher on the hit list than Bailey, than Devon. I don't know where Andrew's going.
Andrew, damn it.
I'll be right back. I'm just doing something fun while you're talking. I'm listening, I promise.
Please mute it if you're peeing.
I'm not peeing.
I don't want to know what something fun means.
We can't see his phone anymore, so we don't know what's going on.
But Allison, I'll tell you then. So
I'm listening. Listening.
Okay, good. So Tyler he's really setting his marks on Danny and making her the target first before Bailey and Devon. I like the lights. I like it. And the problem is Cody doesn't like that, obviously, and that makes sense because Cody and Danny are really tight in this game. They're really looking out for each other, and Cody feels like he's losing a number first when it should be Bailey and Devon going next. And the worst part of all of this is Tyler's putting in the work with Enzo, right? So Enzo is starting to say, let's target Danny before Bailey and Devon. And Cody is really losing grip of all of this power, all of these connections that he had. And we were talking about Tyler last week being on the outside of Cody, Enzo, Tyler. Now it's Cody. What is happening?
Listen, I just want to say it's confirmed. We know what Andrew was smoking before the show. Look at this layout.
I just lost my whole train of thought.
Well,
so you're talking about this, and I agree. The Tyler and Danielle, it's coming and it's boiling, and I love it. And I want Tyler, and I know you're not going to want to hear this. I want Tyler to take out Danielle Donato because I want Danielle Donato to realize evicting Janelle was a mistake.
I agree with that. Do I want her to go? No, but I think you're right, Andrew. I think that Danielle's starting to realize, God, it's too late. Dance of the Sugar Plum.
Okay, to be fair, this is Christmas lights, but my wife has a new business, and so I set up these cool lights for her shows, and she does on Facebook, so I took my Christmas lights inside. If you could look right up there, it says Merry Christmas on my roof. And I just thought it would add a little jazz to this. It's my version of the safety suite.
I love it.
Oh, yes. He's in the safety suite. We can't touch him.
Okay, so yes, should Danny have kept Janelle? Yes, that was a built-in ally for her that she just kind of tossed away, which is frustrating. And it's frustrating to see that she could go to Bailey and Devon, but she was saying last week that she wants to target them, and Tyler's just reconfirming this to Bailey and Devon. And this is great news for Bailey and Devon, right? That Danny is being targeted before them now. I feel like their game has increased a little bit this week, their placement, and I think they realize that. And I gotta say, Danny is really going down with the ship here. And I hate to say that because she's my favorite, but
I'm about to say something about that.
Cody, really aggressively trying to hold on to this control that he's losing, just makes it all a million times worse. And I think we have to point, as much as I don't want to, I think we have to point to Tyler and say, good job for putting in this work last week, this week, before the shit goes down, before all of this happens. And Tyler's really made sure that no matter how this shakes out, unless a Danny HOH win, unless that happens, which would be so exciting for the season.
I want a wall comp HOH with Tyler and Danny on the wall.
That would be cool. Danny, she has won the wall comp, I think, twice in her Big Brother career. So
I want Danny and Tyler on that wall. I think that would be a battle. I think it will go a long time. And Tyler and Danielle Donato in a wall comp this Thursday night, I wouldn't be getting any sleep.
Yeah.
So Stephen.
Stefan says, I'm already over her game. This is classic Danny, getting in her own way and overplaying. Yes, I totally agree with this. But it's exciting to see Danny kind of scrap her way out of it as long as she possibly can. Is it like the cleanest gameplay? No. But is it good, entertaining TV? Yes. And that's what we need in this season right now. I think the worst thing would be for Danny to go home next week, right?
No, because here's the thing. She can go as far as I'm concerned. That whole hinky vote thing was a bunch of BS. She tanked her entire game doing that, especially bringing it up to Cody right before and him not wanting to do it. And then she does it. And then, no, it wasn't me. And he's like, I think it was you. She has tanked her game out. I'm not impressed with her at all. I'm not impressed with anything Nicole Franzel has done. Both of them can go, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Tyler. I know you're a huge Danny fan, but I think her time has come and gone, and she has done it 100% to herself.
Yes.
I don't think she's tanked her game.
Stop it, Andrew. Yes, she has.
Is she making the best decisions this week? No. But for her to tank her game would be like the game's not salvageable at this point. And I think that the game is still salvageable. If I was Danielle Donato right now, I would be flipping this vote and getting rid of Christmas this week, pulling Kaser in me with an Ian and a Kevin, and that's what I would be doing. But to say she's tanked her game's not over. It's still
nobody's going to trust her.
No, but the window of opportunity for her to succeed is like really closing in on herself a lot more than she realizes.
But nobody's going to trust her and follow her into a flip because of the shit that she's been pulling. So that's not going to happen no matter what now. You know what I'm saying?
What she's doing reminds me a little of someone that I love and adore and very, very much and consider a great friend. But she's doing a little of what Audrey Middleton did in her season, right? It's a lot of this. She's just watching it kind of cave in. But the difference is Audrey, I don't think, had an opportunity to save herself, and I still think Danny does. One HOH win, and Danny can flip the whole thing around, right? Like one head of household win next week, she can set her course. She can say, this is who we're going after. This is what we're doing. She can reform the alliances. She goes after she wins HOH, puts up Tyler and Cody. It's a whole new game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the writing's on the wall here. Like it's getting pretty obvious to everybody, like the tension in the air. Danny knows that she's in trouble. And I feel like that is when Danny does her best in terms of comp wins, when she knows her back is up against the wall, literally. So, I mean, you're right, Andrew. It could happen. Does she have an uphill battle? Yes. But I want to talk about something else now. I want to talk about the 17th house guest this season.
I know, I was just about to say that.
The Wall Yeller.
Which could save Danielle's game because Danielle's not mentioned in this Wall Yell, right? So Danielle's being snaky, but she can blame it on this whole Nicole and Cody situation. Like, there's so much ways that, yes, Danielle's in a bad spot, but the Wall Yeller, she's not out of this game.
Yeah. So what happened was, the Wall Yeller first said, fuck Nicole, get her out. And that didn't really do anything. So the Wall Yeller went to Twitter and said, what do you guys want me to say? And Evil Dick retweeted her and said Nicole and Cody are playing everyone. So that's what she did. The Wall Yeller said, Nicole and Cody are playing everybody, get them out. And everybody heard it. And so it's really shaking up the game a lot more than honestly anything else has this season so far. And it's really opening up Ian's eyes in particular. So Ian talked on the hammock, I think it was yesterday morning. And he was saying that he realizes that he might be drawing dead in this game. Like he's not doing a good job with like making alliances and stuff, but he's hoping that he gets himself into a spot where he can just kind of coast through until the second half of this game. and just like win out, because the second half of the game, the comps like favor his like body type and skill level in terms of like quizzes and stuff. But then of course we saw Ian telling Kevin he thinks Cody and Nicole are the center of everything and they need to be targeted. He said, like, you know, think about Enzo, think about Tyler, think about Christmas, like all of these people gravitate back. Think about Danny, gravitate back to Cody and Nicole. Like, he thinks that is the root of everything. And who did he blame it on? He blamed it on Derek. He said that Derek pre-gamed like this entire season and set up everything for the two of them. And we're watching it all play out now. So I think that the wall yeller is just like confirming to Ian that like, we need to do something about this now. And he told Kevin, he was like, I'd rather take the shot now than like go out like 8th place. And I think that is so intelligent for him to realize, because when people don't think that way, we get like a Big Brother 19 situation where they just kind of like lay dead until it's their turn. But you know, Ian's already won this game. He has nothing to prove except, yeah, I beat Dan. But you know, he deserved that one. So I don't know. Well, I'm like rambling, so somebody stop me.
Here's the thing. Something that we, oh Jesus, David. Here we go again, who talked about this week how he really wanted to go on Love Island, but Big CBS convinced him to come on Big Brother. And Devon was talking about in the diary room, but honey, what game are you on? Where are you? Welcome to Big Brother. He's like, oh, here comes David again. Like he walked in the room when they're talking about the hinky vote, and they're like, was it you? Did you vote? Was it you? And he was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? What's a vote? A hinky? What's that mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't think David realizes like how close he was to hitting the block this week.
Does he not know that when he's going in there and talking to Julie Chen Moonves, that he's casting a vote for somebody to leave the house?
Who did that in Celebrity Big Brother season 1? Was it?
Oh, what was his name?
That was wasn't that Canada?
Meta World Peace.
Yeah, that's it.
He thought he was
Oh,
okay.
Meta World Peace, the Celebrity Big Brother. He didn't understand. Yes, it's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tyler, throw that graphic up for me again of the names. And then here's what I want to talk about as we get into this. And I want to look at this a little more here, because you keep mentioning Ian and you keep mentioning all of these people. And with what I'm seeing, the dynamics of the house this week and this starting to come, the people that I would say are in the best position in this game are these that are in this 2 outer rings. Ian, Nicole, Bailey, Devon, Kevin. Those are the people, because as this starts to break and as this starts to go apart, whether it be Danny and Nicole F, whether it be, I'm sorry, not Christmas and Nicole. I meant Bailey, Devon, Kevin, and Ian. These are the 4 that I'm liking to watch the most, because as these inner rings start to out, it's those outer rings that are now going to move into the inner rings to become the new alliance moving forward with whoever of those 4 they decide to go with.
Sure. The problem with this is
you can take it down now, because Allison's trying to have her face.
So the problem with that, Andrew, like it sounds awesome in our ideal fan fiction world of how the rest of the season is going to play out, right? But Bailey and Devon are looking inward instead of outward of that circle. Like, they are still trying to work with Tyler, still trying to work with Cody, still trying to work with Enzo, when they need to zoom out and see like Ian can be picked up, Kevin can be picked up. What the hell is Memphis doing? We haven't even mentioned him on our show yet.
Ian's going to do that work for them.
Yeah,
I strongly believe that. I'm really seeing...
He started to with Kevin. I don't know if you saw that conversation with him.
I did, 100%. And I'm starting to see with this, Ian leaving Team Boogie and starting to work with Team Brittany, right? Like, I'm seeing... The coach's realization and the shift he pulled there is what I'm seeing start to happen now. And I if I had to pick a winner right now, Ian be my winner pick. And it's changed almost every single week. Last week my winner pick was Janelle, just because she needed that. She is still the queen of this game, and she will be for forever, even as a third boot. She will be. But Ian right now. is going to truly be this driving force where if a flip is going to happen, Ian will be a part of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm living for Kaser to stay, and there needs to be a flip.
It's not going to happen.
Big Brother, I'm here to play Big Brother, not Big Baby.
It should happen. That's the smartest move for Bailey. That's the smartest move for Devon. It's the smartest move for Ian. It's the smartest move for Kevin. But it's not going to happen. Honestly, it's the smart move for Danielle Donato. And I said that earlier.
Absolutely.
The look on Kaser's face during the HOH competition. Look at this amazing thumbnail that some very talented person made today for today's show.
I was moving, so I didn't get to do the thumbnail. So Allison took out her Microsoft Paint.
I'm just talking about the look on his face, and you can't see my freaking cursor, so I don't know what the fuck.
Hold on, go back to that image, Allison. You're right. The top picture is Kaser after he won his first round. The bottom picture is Kaser after he lost the second one.
Pretty much.
He should have won that. Like, that was he was in the position. He was the first to win. He killed round one. Kaser has choked when it's mattered in comps this season, and I can't give him any credit.
But he's trying.
He's not.
Yes, he's trying. How dare you?
It's very much, again, winners at war. It's a strategy game versus a connection game, and we're seeing that the old school is still not able to adapt to the new
school. He's trying to win comps is what I'm saying.
Okay, but he's not. There is no try.
Yeah.
Okay, Yoda.
But I mean, and I said at the beginning of this game, I hope it's not going to be old school, new school. Our old schoolers aren't going to get picked out. I hope this isn't going to be.
And that's what's happening right now.
And that's exactly what's happened. And part of that CBS fault because they didn't. After seeing Winners at War, there's not enough old schoolers there, right? Like there's not. And then it brings up the question of where do you draw that line versus old school versus new school? I've seen a lot of people in the game say old school was pre-All-Stars 1, but I consider Danielle Donato old school, and Tyler looked at her in the face and said she wasn't. So where that draws a line, I don't understand, but that's a good question for you two. If you were going to say at this point in Big Brother history is where old school begins and new school begins, where would that be for you?
I think Big Brother 16 is the start of new school Big Brother.
Only 5 seasons of new school.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. Yeah, I agree.
I personally think that Frankie Grande, as a casting choice and like the production changes they made with Battle on the Block, firmly changed Big Brother as a formula for the rest of as we see it now. That's how I think.
So if I had to say when it would be for me, it would be Big Brother 14.
That's a fair start too.
Because of I look at a old school versus new school to have some sort of finality. So you give All-Stars a finality because there's repeat. So you go into 14 that has coaches, that has 4 huge names come back, including the winner of All-Stars 1. And then you move into 15, which if I remember correctly, and I'm trying to look at it, was an all-newbie season. And it was. So when you make that switch from 15 to 15, that would be probably where I would say that. And the only reason I don't like the 16 analogy is I don't like Big Brother 15 being the end of the old school era.
I think 15 is like on its own planet. And that is another reason why they went so safe and so like PG with Big Brother 16. It's a direct stark comparison to all of the choices that were made in Big Brother 15.
So with that being said, though, whether you draw the line at 15 or 16, you're talking Memphis, you're talking Danny, you're talking all of these people that are being pulled into this new school game, and it just makes no sense for them. And that's the issue that I'm having. They don't make good sense.
Steven brings up a good point. 15 is a good transition. I agree with this because 15 was the first time we saw any kind of like stunt casting with Alyssa, Rachel's sister, being cast. So that's another point of contention too. So I want to let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We talked about like everything with like the dissension between the Crocs. To anybody saying that this season's over, this season's canceled, like this shit is like so exciting to me. Like seeing like how
I don't think it's over at all. I'm excited. I'm waiting for when Kaser goes for all these other people left in the house start eating each other alive.
Yes.
It's about to get real.
It is. It's going to get real. It's going to get very personal, and it's going to come down to who wins these comps and what do they do with that power. And I feel like everybody left in this game, with the exception of like David and Memphis, really wants to try for this HOH next week. It's getting very critical already, and we still have like 12 people left in the game.
I wouldn't say the season's over. To me, it's the best analogy, and I'm big on analogies here and examples that Allison thinks are dumb and don't make any sense, but I think they're good anyway. It's a balloon that's being blown up, that's boring to watch right now, but it's waiting to pop, right?
Absolutely.
Like, has it been exciting? No. Am I an episode behind? Yes. Am I thrilled to watch Big Brother every night? No. Do I watch the live feeds anyways? Yes, because I'm waiting for that moment, because it could happen tonight. It could happen tomorrow. The tension and it's that boiling pot of water that's just ready to bubble over.
Exactly.
And so I think we're off to a rocky start, but I think we're going to be off to a great finish.
Yeah, and plus, like when everybody did their cast analysis, like they all said Janelle and Kaser would be out pre-jury. Like this is not anything new. Like we knew this was coming. So in my opinion, like this is where the real game is about to start.
Yeah.
Tyler, a question for you, and going back to this Janelle Kaser thing, and Allison, you too. Do you think that Janelle and Kaser were from the get-go two people that we were going to put in? Like it was 100% Janelle and it was 100% Kaser, or do you think that one maybe is because other people said no? Because I don't agree with putting Janelle and Kaser in the house together when you don't really see those duos anywhere else. Like there's no two people. If you have Tyler and Angela, they bring in Angela like they were going to. You have Bailey and Swaggy. I'm more okay with the Janelle and Kaser, but to me that was a duo that I don't like that setup.
So I think that they had other duos in mind when they put them in together. I think of Josh and Casey in particular. Josh and Christmas are a really strong pair. So is Tyler and Casey, right? And then I think that they were thinking Memphis and Keisha would be another pair, but of course that didn't really play out to work in Keisha's favor. I also think that Janelle and Kaser assumed that Dan and Derek were going to be there. So I think that they thought that they had a little bit more wiggle room in terms of like big targets in the house. I think that how the cast shaked out really didn't favor them. So that's what I think.
And then another thing for the both of you. Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was just going to go into the chart next. So go ahead.
Okay, and this is a little on topic, but a little off topic, and we talked about it in our chat a little bit this week. But I have to bring up the challenge cast that came out, okay? Sure. Because it ties into this so much. If you look at the rumored challenge, and this is a spoiler show, so if you don't want any challenge spoilers, turn off your camera now. When you look at this, Casey's on there, Josh is on there, Amber's on there, and I've thought about this two ways. One, were people promised if you didn't make it on the show, you would have an option to play in the challenge, and that's why you were brought on. And I think that because of Amber. And two, were decisions made at the last minute? Because Josh still to this day, he never had COVID. Was it a casting decision at the last minute of, hey, Keisha and Memphis would make better on Big Brother, and if we're going to put a challenge cast together, we know Casey and Josh will say yes to the challenge?
I don't think so. Well, Allison, you go first. I've been talking a lot.
I'm just saying the whole thing is they didn't make it on the show because they had COVID, but now all of a sudden they don't have COVID and they're being quarantined for the challenge. I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to put 20 people for the challenge in one area together. And the way these people fuck and do all kinds of crazy shit and exchange bodily fluids. I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm Mama. I'm not trying to be rude. Mama Moses is in the chat. I apologize. But I'm just saying, with the way these people swap bodily fluids and all kinds of stuff, Like, seriously, something's going to get around. So they need to major testing.
I don't want to talk much about the challenge, but I look at this and I'm like, okay, it makes more sense that Casey and Josh were dropped. And I still want to hear your opinion on this, Tyler, because if they were trying to put together a challenge cast and they're under one sister company, Memphis and Keisha are not saying yes to the challenge, right? Like, that's not going to happen. And when you say like Johnny Bananas not on it, oh crap, Bananas dropped. Do we need to move Josh and Casey from Big Brother?
Why isn't he doing it? Why isn't he doing it?
We don't know the answer to that. But I know it might be a stretch, but that thought has been in my mind. Did they say, here's the 3 shows we need to cast, Love Island, Big Brother, and The Challenge. Here's the group of people that we need to do it. How can we put this puzzle together?
So my rebuttal to that is I don't think the current production that we have for Big Brother even like acknowledges Memphis and Keisha as anything except for an alternate. I don't think that half the people working there even know who Memphis and Keisha are. Like, that's how like ignored Big Brother 10 is as a cast, except for Dan. In just like all the appearances of Big Brother returnees, even like special guests coming back to like host comps or anything like that. I mean, Jesus, Michelle Costa was saying on Twitter, she never even got a call. So I think that it really was just like a last minute, okay, who from Big Brother is in LA? Like, who can we get like super quick? Let's get Memphis and Keisha. Boom. And I think like once they saw that Keisha was trending on Twitter, once the news broke, I think they're like, oh shit, like maybe we did something right here. Whoops. But am I glad that they came instead of Josh and Casey? Yes, because everybody talking about how boring the shakeup is now. Imagine how much more boring it would be with Casey and Josh working for Tyler instead of Memphis.
It would have happened sooner though, because the alliance would have been too big and there would have been too many connections.
That's true. All right, so I want to get into the ratings that we do every week here.
All right, Allison's got to take a pee break because this takes forever.
Go ahead.
Is y'all's Tuesday night show normally shorter? Because you know I don't shut up.
No. I love this dialogue with you, Andrew. You're welcome anytime. I will always entertain these conversations. Okay, so here is our chart for week 4. Beth has already given her scores, so we are going to go through this. And of course, Andrew, feel free to give us your thoughts as well.
So what are we doing? We're ranking 1 to 10, or what are we doing?
Yeah, ranking 1 to 10, or I think 0 to 10, because Allison likes to give Nicole Franzel zeros, which I don't agree with.
And, you don't have to record mine, but I'll just say it out loud.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So for Christmas, the nom this week, I'm going to give Christmas a 5. I think that she's like very in the middle of the road right now. I don't think she's a mover and shaker, and I also don't think that nominating yourself on the block is ever a good call. You know, I don't know. I just I liked her positioning a lot better last week. But I need to start seeing Christmas as somebody that is making the moves instead of executing the moves for other people. And I think that window of opportunity for being a mover and shaker in this game is really closing in, considering how fast-paced and in control Tyler is of everything. And I think Christmas has found a new Paul and Tyler. That's what I think is happening here. So I'm going to give her a 5.
So Christmas, you give Christmas the first 3 weeks. I'd give her an 8 or a 9. I don't think she's played a bad game so far, right? Like Wednesday.
That's what I did. I gave her an 8 2 weeks ago, I think.
And last week she gets selected as safety suite. This week she would get a big fat 0 from me. You volunteer to go on the block, you get a 0 in this story. That is the dumbest thing you could do in the whole wide world. You and Enzo, he picked you for the safety suite. There's no way you're going up. There's no way any of that's going to happen. And you nominate it. It makes no valid sense from her positioning and her standpoint in this game, and how tensions are so tight for Christmas to say, I go on the block. And that I can't ever give that credit.
Sure. Allison, what do you think about Allison, okay. So what do you think about Christmas? Tell us your score for her.
5. I just don't. I mean, I thought the whole volunteering herself to go on the block, I did not think was a wise decision, in my opinion. I don't know. I just didn't care for
The
it.
problem. The problem.
So next we have the most amazing, most deserving all-star here left with us. We have David. What did I rate him last week? I rated him a 1. I'm going to stick with that 1. But I think the longer he stays in the game, the better it is for the season in terms of like chaos, because he's just like messing so many people's games up, and it's hilarious to me. Like, I would love to see David as HOH. I feel like that would like, imagine if that's what like combusts this alliance, right? Like, that would be so funny. So I'm giving him a 1. Allison, what do you think?
0. He doesn't even know what game he's playing. He doesn't know what show he's on. He doesn't know what the mothership needs to come get him.
Okay, I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. I'm gonna give him a 7.
Andrew, a 7?
What the hell?
Is he playing a good game? Absolutely not. Is he Final Four? Probably.
So you want to give? So Allison, you missed it while you were in the bathroom. So he gave Christmas a 0, and he's giving David a 7.
Because David's not volunteering himself to go on the damn block.
I don't think David even knows what the block is.
Put me up. David's not saying put me up. I vote we remove Andrew from the panel immediately. Thank you, Matthew. And, again, is it a good? Or what are we rating? Are we rating on strategic gameplay, or are we rating on positioning in the house? Because if we're rating positioning in the house,
I think positioning in the house.
He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
Allison rates on all kinds of things, from strategic stuff to gameplay to hair. So
Gina Marie, also Final 2. I think of Victoria making Final 3, not knowing what the heck was going on in this house or in this situation. I think of all these different scenarios where this person has gone far, and David's in that position right now because Devon, I think she can control David. Tyler, I think she can control David. I think there's all of these people that think they're in his back pocket. Whether it's by dumb luck or not, David's in a position to make it deep into the game.
Devon cannot control David. Because in this past episode, did you see that?
All she has to do is this, she can.
No, listen, they tried to have a conversation with him, with Bailey being the mediator, and that was like trying to, it just was nothing. I don't know what register, what brain, I don't get it. It just, nobody controls David. David does David.
And Stefan said, Andrew, is an argument against you. Jean Marie did not play a 7 game. I don't think David's playing a 7 game in as far as strategy. I think his position in the house is a 7. I had to rank people from 12 to 1 as to who I think is going to go next week versus to who's the least likely to go next week. David would be in the top 4 scenario for me. I don't see anybody putting up David next week minus Memphis.
We have a question in the chat by Tracy. Is Tuesday at 8 p.m. your only BB podcast? No, we actually go live after each eviction on Thursday, so catch us then as well.
I just put this in there for her.
All right, so Allison, I want to go last for Danny. Allison, I want to hear where you rank Danny. I already have a number in mind, but
I'm giving Danny a 4 because I don't think that Hiki vote was smart. I think that once Cody said, no, I'm not on board, she should have dropped it and left it alone because she looks guilty as sin. And Cody knows it. And she's sitting in there talking about, and she won't shut up about it. So that's a big giveaway. Who do you think? Who do you think? Cody just looks at her and goes, I think it was you.
Andrew, what do you think about Danny?
I would give Danielle Donato a 5 because I think next week is a make or break week.
A 5?
A 5. Right in the middle of the road. Next week it could be a 1. Next week it could be a 10. Next week is a make or break week for Danielle Donato.
So I'm going to give Danny a 3. And I hate to do this.
Wow.
But guys, she is in so much trouble. And like you said, Andrew, like it's do or die. If you're backed into a corner so much where you have to win to survive, before even Bailey and Devon get taken out, which they've been talking about all season. As much as I love her, I have to be fair, right?
You rank Danielle Donato lower than anybody else.
Even David.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about like the four of us that are ranking. Tyler put her the lowest.
Yep.
and again,
That's weird.
I think y'all are giving Annie. I don't think you're giving her enough credit, and I'm the most surprised with you, Tyler. She can get out of this. If anybody can get out of this, Danny can get out of it.
That's true. Which is why I'm giving her a 3. Andrew, so many people have been talking about her. No, seriously, so many people have been talking about getting her out, and like she just like keeps digging herself in the hole, like even deeper. And the people she needs to recruit to get her out of this are the ones that she's saying she's going to target with Bailey and Devon. Like you said, like she is very capable of winning this HOH next and flipping up the game. But the odds are against her.
I don't even think she needs to win the HOH.
You think she survives without winning a competition next week?
She's going up.
It
just depends on who wins.
If Ian, Kevin, David, if one of those 3 win, she can still do what she needs to do, not being as HOH.
Matt Henning says he enjoys fighting with Tyler. I enjoy fighting with you too. Everybody does. I'm very easy to fight, I guess. So with that, Danny gets a 3.7. So Andrew, let's hear what you think about Cody.
Last week I would have given him a 10,
mm-hmm.
a 9 or a 10. This week I give him a 7, but the wall person brings it down to a 6.
Yeah. I totally agree, Andrew. I'm giving him a 6. That's what I thought as well. I hate that. I hate it too because it's preventable. Like if Cody just kind of like cut his losses with Enzo and Tyler, and he used his influence to build the army, bring in Danny once again, bring in Nicole, and of course with that comes Ian. He has so many options, but I feel like it's a pride thing with Cody. He hates like admitting to himself that like Tyler got Enzo when he had him first. So yeah, Allison, what do you think?
I'm gonna give him a 5. Just so much has come up this week about what Derek did before, and it just how good of a player is Cody without Derek's input? How good of a player, how much of an all-star is he without someone coaching him and giving him advice before he went in the house?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, look, that anybody can have that. I'm not just picking on him for that, but that whole Yeller thing, that old Yeller thing over the wall, just
not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Before you get to Kevin, I'm gonna go ahead and guys, I'm gonna disappear. I'm not home before 8 very often. That's when we put my daughter to bed, so I'm gonna go give her a good night kiss and do all that kind of stuff.
That's fine.
So I'm kind of going down the ranking, but it was a pleasure as always. And I am officially off every Tuesday moving forward. So whenever you need me, just let me know.
Perfect. Wait, Andrew, before you go, who's your winner pick as of now?
Ian, I said that earlier.
Ian? Okay, cool. All right.
And it's just positioning. But the thing is, this is going to change every week. I think I will have a new winner every week because I think when you talk about this implosion that I think is imminent, I think it's the first of many.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see Cody slip one week, Nicole slip the other week. You're going to see all of these things start to happen. Of people that are going to start to go, I don't think Cody. I think Cody's still a mid-jury boot at worst. But I think Ian is so smart. He's so freaking smart, and he's putting it together. And if he can get it to fall in the right spot, he's going to win this game. But I love you both. I hope you all have a great evening.
I love you too. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay, so Allison, let's hear what you think about Kevin.
I'm giving Kevin a 7 because I love Kevin. Not happy with him talking and giving information to the wrong people, but when has that, he's the first person that's ever happened to. Hello. But he nominated and won the veto, and he pulled himself off. Yeah. So good for him. I'm giving him a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give Kevin a 5. I think that which is higher than I have been rating him in weeks past. So I think that he is on the rise. Do I think that he's out of trouble yet? No. He was nominated as a pawn this very week. So he is expendable to people, and I think people still view him as expendable. But I feel like he's getting a little bit better with his positioning. So I will give Tyler an 8 this week. I think that he's doing all the right things. That he got Enzo from Cody this week, which is a huge victory for him. Christmas is like really blindly following him. Bailey is like still feeding him information as well. The only sore spot is Danny, and with that, like maybe Ian. So I don't know. I'm pretty high on Tyler's chances right now. What do you think?
I think Tyler, and this is rare for me to say, I agree with you, but I'm not giving him an 8. I'll give him a 7.
All right.
I agree with everything you just said.
Allison, what do you think about Bailey?
I'm not happy with Bailey because I'm not happy with the way she's been acting towards Kaser. I don't like the way she spoke to him this week. I don't like the way she basically kicked a dog while he's down. Obviously, she doesn't know what we know, and I give her that wiggle room, but she's going to find out really quick when she's out of the house sooner than later that he and Janelle were on her side along with Devon. So I'm giving her a 4.
All right. I'm going to give her a 5? Question mark?
She's just so rude this week. It just turned me off. I just don't want that old Bailey around. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think at this point in the game is when she started like unraveling in Big Brother 20. So she very well could like tank her own game in the next week or two. So we'll see. I think it's her positioning next week is really going to come down to who gets power. So with that, I give her a 5. Nicole Franzel. Allison, I'll let you start with that one.
She gets those zeros. I don't give a shit. I don't like her. I don't think she should be on a show, especially with all the drama she started beforehand. She's not contributing. She's not doing anything. And you're going to sit there and tell me you weren't part of any kind of group text with Derek that told you what to do? You're a lying little piece. Gal, I'm done with you. 0.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a 7, and the points I am docking are because she like won't own her shit.
Nope.
But I think that her positioning is pretty good in the game. I just wish that she would identify Tyler as somebody she needs to take out instead of somebody she needs to work with.
Right.
So I keep forgetting about Memphis in this game. I'm gonna give him a 4, I guess, question mark, because I don't really know what he's doing or what he's contributing at this point. But he is winning comms, having influence in the house, but I don't know. Is he playing a winning game? Do I think he's gonna win this jury? No. But do I think he's going out next week? Probably not. I don't know.
He's gonna be around. I see him 5, final 5, final 4. And it's not going to be because he did anything crazy or made some big moves, because look, he got Nicole Anthony out. Wow.
Right.
But I'll give him a 4.
All right. So that brings Memphis to a 3.7. So Enzo, I want you to go first. Go ahead.
Okay, so Enzo is on my nerves right now. I love Meow Meow, but it's the whole, I'm gonna get in when I'm HOH, I'm gonna do this, and Danny's gotta go, and blah blah blah. And then you sit there and you nominate Kevin and Kaser. You have an opportunity to put Danny up because you're tired of her. You're not buying it. And yet you put Christmas up. This is a chance for you to make a move. And this isn't going to be a move that I personally think would have hurt Enzo's game. I really don't think if he had gotten rid of Danny or if she didn't go, yeah, she'd come after him. But at the same time, she has done a lot of damage to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really starting to come out. And I wish he would have yo'd up and taken care of business, like he said.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, I missed the number. What was the number?
I'm just gonna give him a 4.
4? I'm gonna give him a 9. I think that Tyler and Cody arguing over like I feel like they're like competing for his attention, right? And like that is a very good place to be inside that very inner circle. I think that it was really good of him to be in the power position when all of this shit started going down with Tyler and Danny, because he's kind of steering the ship how he wants to, and he's setting his sights on Danny. But because he has HOH this week, he has that power and that influence to do so. He's winning all these comps, but I still don't think that he's the biggest target in this game. I think that Tyler is targeted first. I think Cody's targeted first. I think they will always be bigger targets before Enzo. And if Enzo wins this game, I'm telling you, he is a top 5 winner in Big Brother history.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, because he's not a target. And if he had put Danny up,
really amazing,
and got rid of her, I don't think he would have been he still would have been a target.
Yeah, it's really incredible how, and I just think that this speaks to his underrated social game, how well he's good at like cultivating those alliances and really diminishing his threat level. Even though like I feel like this is like the same Enzo we saw in Big Brother 12 making the brigade, except it's so much more layered this time, and he's winning competitions this time. So like if everybody was saying how great of a game he played in Big Brother 12, I feel like this is like an enhanced version in every single way. So yeah, it's a 9 for me. So on the flip side, I'm going to give Kaser a 2 because he stayed longer than Janelle, but does he have like any kind of chance? No. And he stopped trying because like the writing's on the wall. It's pretty clear. What do you think, Allison?
I love Kaser. I'm going to give him a pity 5 just because I adore him. I love him. I have respected the hell out of this guy. Had a really moving discussion with Devon this week. And, you know, he even talked, and this was not on the show, but, you know, coming on Big Brother after 9/11 as a Muslim, that is a big deal.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
And I think that still is a big deal in this day and age. But that's not part of his game. But I feel like he did stop trying. I think he kind of hid behind Janelle too much. I would love to see a season where Kaser comes back and is able to play without Janelle. Not pissing on Janelle, because I love Janelle. To me, Janelle and Kaser, king and queen of Big Brother. Hands down, that's it. There's princes and princesses and jesters and whatever, but these two are the royalty to me. Okay.
Steven says Casey's a 5 and Nicole Franzel a 0. This is how Allison rakes it. It's her.
This is me. This welcome to the shit show that I have created. This is how I roll. Yeah. I just feel really bad for the guy. I would have liked to have seen him. I would love to see a flip in the house. I would love to see Christmas go, but not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. I love you too, Stefan.
So next we have Devon. He says, love you, Allison, but also stop it. I'll let you go first for Devon.
Devon to me is, okay, she's gone up from last week. I think that she's finally on to David. I think she's waking up from certain things, and I'm going to give her a 7. I think that David's hurting her game, and she's got to cut ties with him. I think she needs to keep Bailey's attitude in check a little bit. I think that if she could get a flip, Kaser would have been a good number for her. But she's so relatable. She's so easy to talk to. She's Mama Day. I mean, she can't really go wrong with her. She's an amazing player. She's really good. She calls it like she sees it. To me, Devon and Enzo are a lot alike. Mm-hmm. Enzo and Devon are the kind of people that can get away with saying anything. and nobody gets pissed off or bats an eye about it. But if Nicole Franzel says it, or you know what I mean, everybody gets pissed off and goes off on her. So I just kind of respect her in that way. But yeah, I give her a 7.
I'm going to give her, what did I rate Billy? 5. I'm going to give Devon a 4 because I watched this conversation with her and Kevin on the hammock, and Allison, I'm so frustrated because like Kevin is like telling Devon like all of this like new awakened like let's go after the core that Ian gave to him. He gave him that motivation. He gave him like that little pep in his step, and Devon's just like, I don't think it's true. I don't think that they're at the center of everything. And I don't even know if I can really trust Bailey. And I'm like, stop overthinking. Like, Bailey is in your corner. Bailey wants you to win before Bailey, honestly.
Yes.
It's just so frustrating. So Devon has good reads every now and then, but like a broken clock is right twice a day. And that's where I feel that we're at with Devon. I just want to like shake her and say like these guys are not with you, and you are on that outer circle. And the sooner you realize it, the better. I just hope she does it before it's too late.
Right.
So Ian, I'm going to give Ian an 8 because I'm very happy with his perception of everything, and I like that he talked to us and told us that he's laying low on purpose. I think that next week is a really important week, like Andrew said. A very important week for Ian, for Danny, for Bailey, Devon. Like, power has to shift to the other side.
It has to.
But Ian realizes this, and I feel like not everybody else does. So that's why I'm giving him a better score. What do you think, Allison?
It's just hard not to love Ian and everything he's doing. I'm going to give him an 8 as well. I mean, he's just, if he can make it through the next couple of weeks, the next 2 weeks, I really think that he will make it.
Yeah.
Possibly Final 3.
Yeah.
That's all he's got to do. But, you know, Christmas is with him, but then again, Christmas is listening to Enzo. He may have to cut that tie.
Yeah. What number did you give? I'm sorry.
7.
7. All right. Okay. So that's 7.7. All right. Cool. So yeah, pretty slow week in terms of movement in the house, except for Danny just like totally burying herself. So we'll see what happens. But I made a line graph of where the house guests games are going in terms of like our average rating. So it looks like Ian is at the top of the pack. We're really rooting for him. And then Tyler is not far behind him with a 7. But I think that Tyler's in the best position of the game. And I hate saying that, but I want to be as fair as possible. Of course, I'm still rooting for Danny, but it's not looking good. So yeah, do you have any more thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I'm looking forward to Thursday. I just want to get it over with. I just want to rip the Band-Aid off. We all know Kaser's leaving. There's not going to be a flip, nothing. So let's just get this over with. And now now the real fun begins.
Absolutely. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, catch us live on the Thursday after the live eviction. We'll be going live to talk about Kaser going home, and we'll have a new head of household. So our questions will be answered. Is Danny going to be in power? Is Ian going to be in power? Or is it going to be another Memphis, Cody, Tyler, HOH win? I hope not, because I'm ready for a little bit of shakeup.
Answer this question for Ruby Tuesday real quick before we go.
Yeah. So what did Danny do? So Danny started talking about like Tyler being a huge threat. And we saw like a little montage in I think on Sunday's episode of her saying that I'm trying to plant seeds of doubt throughout the entire alliance and also on the outside of the alliance. But I feel like Danny does it in a way that's like negging instead of saying like talking about it from like a game perspective. So it just comes off as like mean girl instead of something for like strategy purposes. And Tyler is a very smart, very perceptive player. And he knows that Danny's onto him. And he knows that her lifeline in this game is Cody. And she needs that to succeed. And so Tyler is like really putting in some positive work with Cody, but also with Bailey and Devon, these people that Danny could go to build this army against him, so that when she does have those conversations with them, it's too late because Tyler's already put the groundwork in. So I think Tyler's just beating Danny to the punch. He's like really laying the groundwork and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything else? Of course, like and subscribe us on YouTube, rate us on Apple Podcasts, all that fun stuff as always.
Yes, subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown on YouTube. You'll get notifications when we go live. You can also follow us on Facebook. We go live on there on our Facebook page, My Weekly Meltdown. Follow us on Instagram, My Weekly Meltdown. You can find me on Twitter at Summers1977 and my personal Instagram, the.memphis.darling. You can find Tyler at TLions on Twitter. And hopefully Beth will be back with us on Thursday.
Yeah, she'll be back. She's not going anywhere. She just needed like a little break. She's got a lot going on until Canada's Drag Race ends. So she'll be back too. All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of your week.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that I think of people who know me know that I'm a huge movie buff and I am obsessed with the Marvel films. And this Friday evening, we lost Chadwick Boseman, the one and only King T'Challa, the Black Panther. And I just want to send my thoughts and prayers out to his family. And I just want to end the show with Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys on Thursday. Stay safe, wear a mask, and as Julie Chen Moonves says, be kind. Yes. Bye.